All right. I guess the best place for us to start is with what we discussed back in your dorm a few days ago.
Do we have to?
Well, clearly trying to jump right in the middle of things with Barnaby, Julie, and Neighbor hasn't worked. It's usually better to start with what you know first and then go from there.
Fine.
So, tell me about your father.
I mean, from the way it sounded, you've already met the guy. What is there left to say?
Well, we only spoke for a couple of hours, and I don't think it's fair for me to make assumptions based on personal bias and the one-sided conversation we had. I want your perspective, your experiences.
Well, where do I even begin with him? To put it simply, my dad's an asshole. He's one of those people that never wanted to get married or have kids. But it's what his parents expected of him, especially since my Uncle Mordecai had supposedly already put his foot down about not getting married himself. And so, that's what he did.
And that would be to your mother, correct?
Uh, I, I think so.
Do you recall anything about your mother?
I, no. No, I don't.
We'll come back to that later, then. Let's just focus on your father for now.
Right. Well, we've never really seen eye to eye on anything. He expected nothing short of perfection and absolute obedience from me. Initially, he wanted me to grow up to be the successor of his investment company.
But
But it was boring. I loved science and making things and seeing how different things reacted with one another, not stocks, bonds, and mutual funds.
did you and your father ever get on about anything while you were growing up?
Yeah, we both agreed that we hated each other.
And yet you said he still tries to visit you here at the factory from time to time.
Yeah, because he's a lonely old man that's coming to realize he's going to die all alone with nobody to care for him.
What about Mordecai? Are the two of them still close?
That's difficult to say. While I was growing up, they were pretty much inseparable, and my uncle didn't do a damn thing to stop the abuse I faced at the hands of my father. So I really wasn't all that keen on getting to know him better. But for the past few years, it seems like he's been giving him the cold shoulder and trying to get closer to me.
I see. And have you been willing to let him get closer to you?
I mean, he's practically a stranger to me. He has admitted to me that he understands that his lack of action in the past was wrong, and he has since apologized and distanced himself from my dad. But we have no idea where to go from there. While we're on the topic, care to explain to me how the hell you know my Uncle Mordecai? I mean, I get that he was your most frequent visitor in the commune. I'm just having trouble understanding what exactly that's supposed to mean.
Well, you're not the only one. Actually, he was originally one of my papa's clients. I met him when I was around 4 years old, and I grew up seeing him every other week when he stopped by to have tea and cake with my folks.
Hang on. You mean to tell me my uncle was a regular at the cross-stitch commune?
As regular as they came. He said it was originally to escape his usual everyday life and to just have a normal conversation with someone that wasn't about work, family, or money. And when he met me, well, let's just say there were a lot of ragdolls at the commune that thought he was going to adopt me at some point.
So, why didn't he? When you were driven out of the commune, why didn't you just go to him? I mean, if the two of you were that close, I'm sure he would have taken you in.
I couldn't. I was driven from the commune in shame. The last thing I wanted to do was be a burden on him.
Seriously? You and my uncle became so close. He knew your parents, watched you grow up. Seems like he treated you like the child he never had. And you think you would have been a burden on him?
Yeah?
All right, you know what? We're fixing this right now.
What are you...
Walden Darling, you better not be trying to get out of bed.
Oh, relax, Mama Bird. I'm just making a quick phone call.
Hmm. Walden calling? Holy fucking shit. Well. If it isn't my one and only son. Are you finally done being bitter and actually wanting to talk?
Not quite yet, asshole. But I did want to talk to you. Could you get a hold of Uncle Mordecai and come up to the factory?
I don't know, son. You're always getting on my case about showing up unannounced. Like you, I'm a very busy man. And this is pretty last minute, isn't it?
All right, fine. You just seemed so desperate to reconnect last time that I thought I'd offer you one last chance while I had a little bit of extra time. You've got 12 hours. Come, don't come, do whatever. But as you mentioned, I'm a very busy man. Figure out your priorities now, Wallace. Good day.
Hold on, wait.
There's no way that's ever going to work.
Oh, trust me. It'll work.
Hmm? Well, now, who in the world can that be?
In your face, brother.
Why, yes. Good morning, Walls. How lovely to see you. Please come in. What in the hell are you doing here, Wallace? Ain't it a bit too early to be disturbing the peace?
Oh, I just thought I'd stop by to gloat and say, I told you so. I just got off the phone with Wally this morning.
Uh-huh. And what kind of screaming match did y'all get into this time?
No screaming this time, actually. He actually called to invite us up to the Rainbow Factory. Guess he wants to talk to us about something.
Well, Wally boy wants to talk, huh? And I don't strike you as being mighty suspicious. At all.
No. He told me himself. He found himself with some extra time on his hands, and he wants to reconnect.
Uh-huh. And that ain't setting any alarm bells off in your head whatsoever.
Come on, Kai. This is Walden we're talking about.
You mean the same Walden that stabbed you in the shoulder and gave you that nasty scar across your face? Yes, I'm very well aware.
Come on, brother. This could finally be our chance to start fresh. Have some meaningful relationships inside the family for once.
Hey, my conscience is clean here. Unlike you, I was the one that humbled myself, sat down with him, and apologized for letting you go off and treat him like your own personal whipping boy. You, on the other hand, have yet to recognize when you've done wrong by your own kid.
Yeah, well, if you would have just done your job as the firstborn son in our family, we wouldn't be in this mess.
And there you go again, blaming everyone except yourself.
Look, I didn't come here to fight, all right? Walden just called and asked if we could come up to the factory to talk. Sounded pretty serious, too.
I don't know, Walls. I mean, you do realize who we're talking about here.
You mean the Midnight Maniac? Yeah, I'm very well aware. I've been bending over backwards trying to convince everyone it isn't him.
Right. And the attacks in town really seem to have slowed down ever since they put up that 9 o'clock curfew. You really think he's just looking to talk?
Kai, we're the only family he has left. You wouldn't.
Yeah. And I was also under the impression that Walden had a soft spot for kids. And yet, there are still 12 children in this city that are unaccounted for, and I don't think will ever be accounted for.
Maybe he's finally coming to his senses. Look, do what you want. Come, don't come, whatever. But if this is really going to be my last shot at setting things straight with my son, then I'm going to take it. So what's it going to be?
I'll go get my hat. Might as well come along and make sure you don't do none stupid. Now, remember what we talked about, Wallace?
Less talking, more listening.
And?
Don't get upset just because he says something I might not like.
And?
I'm not entitled to his forgiveness. If Walden decides it's best for us to go our separate ways, I should honor and respect that.
So you were listening to me. There might be hope for you yet.
Good morning. What can I do for you two gentlemen today?
I believe we have an appointment. Wallace and Mordecai Darling. We received a call for a visit from Walden.
Ah, yes. His assistant told us you'd be coming. If the two of you could just hang tight, I'll let them know that you're here.
Sure thing.
Is it just me, or does this place seem a little quieter than usual?
Oh, so it ain't just me, is it? Bit eerie, don't you think?
Yeah, but we have stepped right into the Midnight Maniac's lair. I guess it's to be expected.
I suppose so. I just don't recall there ever being a time where the factory was this empty. Wally must have taken his picks from the employees for... Hold on.
What is it? Huh. I'm pretty sure that's the assistant the receptionist told us about.
Give me just a second there, Wallace. This is something personal. Dolly? Golly, is that you?
Hey, Morty.
Oh, my stars. You're here? You're alive? How can this be? We all thought...
I'm sorry. I was just so scared, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
There, sweetheart. You're all right. And that's what matters.
Am I missing something here? How do you two know each other?
Huh. See, now I know you ain't been paying much attention over the course of the past few years. This lovely young thing is Dolly. You know, the person I took you to after Walden tore your ass up a couple years back.
Oh. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I didn't recognize you.
It's fine, I guess. I did get a little bit of a makeover when I first came to the factory. Kinda hard to recognize me without the dress and all these patches. I don't take any offense.
Ah, well, that's good. Well, let's get reacquainted. Wallace Darling.
Rags Patchwork.
Rags? You mean Walden actually went and gave you a name?
Mm-hmm. I know it might not be the most flattering name for a ragdoll, but it is what he chose to call me.
Ah, I see. Well, I'm mighty happy for you, hon. Forgive me if it takes me a moment to get it right.
No worries. I have miles more patience for you than I did for Tom Tom. If it becomes a problem, I'll let you know.
Glad to hear it.
Sorry to spoil the moment, but I think we still have some business to tend to. Didn't Walden ask for us to come here?
Ah, yes. If the two of you would please come with me to the infirmary, he's been expecting your arrival.
Wait a minute. The infirmary?
Yeah, he sustained an injury a few days ago after a riot broke out amongst the workers. He's been advised to take it easy for a while until he's fully healed.
I knew something seemed off. Just how bad is it?
He was shot.
Stupid boy.
Walls.
Well,
Don't worry. He's been getting an earful from all of us since he woke up. No need to give him a hard time about it. We've already got it covered.
ah, I see.
I mean it. Be nice. All right. Before I take you in there, there's something I feel like you both should know.
What is it, hon?
Just how long has it been since either of you have seen Walden?
About 7 months ago, roughly. Dropped by for the holidays while everyone's spirits was up.
I attempted to visit him back in May for his birthday, but I was shown to the door pretty fucking quickly by security. Something about it not being safe for outsiders to be coming into the facility.
Right. And are either of you well versed in the reports about the Midnight Maniac?
Very.
Well, all right then. Straight to the point then. You're both aware that it is Walden, correct?
Of course. It doesn't matter how grainy the security footage is. I'd recognize that boy anywhere.
I concur. We've actually been doing all that we can to keep the fuzz off of his trail. Being the manager of the Rainbow Factory and not being allowed to leave makes for a solid alibi. Why do you ask?
Because there's a reason he's been acting like that. It's a long story, but basically what it boils down to is that Walden's lost everyone he's ever cared about.
Oh, really? Care to elaborate?
Well, back in February, there was a situation that resulted in the death of his best friend and his ex-wife, Barnaby and Julie. And then, a little over 3 months ago, he wound up losing the assistant that had been working under him at the time.
Okay. And?
The amount of mental and emotional distress those situations caused him basically rewired his brain into forgetting them, along with everyone else he's ever cared about.
Wait a minute. Are you saying Walden has amnesia?
Not amnesia, necessarily. They're more like repressed memories. Anything involving Barnaby, Julie, Ophelia, his previous assistant, and even his mother just isn't there anymore.
So, he remembers me and his Uncle Mordecai, but he doesn't remember his own mother?
That definitely appears to be the case. That's sort of the reason why we called you guys up here. To see if we can figure out a way to start recovering some of those memories.
Honest question. Do you really think that's such a good idea? If you ask me, he'd be better off putting all of that behind him and starting fresh.
Yeah, well, clearly we've tried that already. And this is where it's gotten us. Tensions within the factory are at an all-time high, and now the city has the Midnight Maniac to worry about. Walden has come to realize that this is a problem and wants to start looking into things. Since he has his memories of you and being raised by you, we figured that'd be the best place for him to start.
So, what? You guys called us up here to see if we could jog his memory?
More or less.
Well, I can't make any promises, but I'll see what I can do.
Right then.
Walls. You realize what this means, don't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell him about what happened to Francine.
Don't tell me. You plan on lying your ass off about it to him, don't you?
Not lie, exactly. Just stretch the truth a little bit.
I knew it.
Look, if Wally doesn't remember a damn thing about what really happened to Francine, I might actually be able to convince him that she really did just die from an illness. Neither you, nor me, nor anyone else has to be involved in the situation.
That includes Walden too, don't it?
Of course. Of course. It was nobody's fault. His mother just suddenly fell ill and died.
You hesitated. You realize if Walden catches you in this lie, your ass is grass, right?
He's not going to. The boy's practically a blank canvas. Perfect for starting fresh and reconnecting.
I really hate the way you think sometimes.
Are you two coming or what?
Just a moment, hon. If he catches you, I ain't coming to save your ass. I'm done with that, you hear?
Then it's a good thing you won't need to, isn't it?
Lord, give me strength to not kill my stupid-ass brother over here.
Well, now, look who decided to show up.
Well, you're the one who called. I'm told you could use some help recovering some lost memories.
Something like that? My mind's just drawing blanks about Mom and what she was like. I figured you'd be able to help me out in that department.
Ah, well, I think I still have a picture of her in my wallet somewhere. Let's see. Ah, here we go.
Oh wow, you really weren't kidding when you said you were part Caracal. She looks like she was quite the sophisticated young lady.
Yeah, I suppose she was. Her name was Francine. Don't let her feline charm fool you. She was sophisticated, sure, but she was also pretty vicious. If I'm being honest, I think she was as ill-suited to the married life as I was. She absolutely adored you, though, and even though you definitely got the darling genes in the looks department, your cat-like behaviors and tendencies definitely came from her side of the family. Well, any of this ringing any bells so far?
Not really. It's just like it was when Sally was laying into me about, what was it, Ophelia or something? None of it sounds familiar. The only thing it's doing for me is giving me a splitting headache.
Don't push yourself, boy. There's no pressure. While we're at it, would it be any trouble if I asked you for a cup of tea?
Well, most of us around here drink coffee, but I'm sure I can whip something up for you.
Tea. Tea. Why do I feel like that's important somehow?
Well, your mom really did like tea. Probably just as much as you like your coffee.
Yeah, but there's more to it, I feel like.
It is a pretty strong boundary line.
Really? That's showing up in his boundaries?
Yeah, and it's letting up like the 4th of July right now. How exactly did Francine die again?
It was simply due to an illness. There wasn't a lot that anyone could really do for her.
Uh-huh. I see. Well, Morty, if you don't mind, let's see what we can do about that cup of tea you requested.
Right then. Pardon us for just a moment.
Yeah, do whatever you guys gotta do. Go catch up. I can deal with this, asshole.
I'm honestly doing my best here, son.
Alrighty now, Dolly, I know you. You always tend to know more than you let on. What's on your mind?
Are you fucking kidding me? Your brother seriously murdered his own wife by poisoning her tea.
Now, Rags, I know how this must look. I assure you, I don't like it any more than you do.
I just knew something was off about him when you first brought him to the commune. I just didn't have any of the pieces I needed to figure it out. You do realize, if Walden never figures out the truth...
My brother is a dead man? Yes, I already know.
Please tell me you didn't play any part in it.
I didn't, but I did. Wallace and Francine shared a mutual hatred for one another, but Francine did like Wallace just enough to stick around. If I could turn back time, I would have told her personally just to take old Wally boy and run. But instead, I chose to stand by my brother. Told him if he really hated her that much, he should do something about it. But I never wanted him to go off and pin the blame on Walden.
This is so fucked, Morty.
I know. Done a lot of things in my life that I ain't proud of. Putting that idea in my brother's head is just one of them. So, you being Wallen's assistant and all, you plan on calling them out on it?
I really don't think I can. It won't change anything. Walden has to uncover those memories for himself. Just telling him about it isn't going to be enough. Believe me, a lot of us around here have already tried.
You've already put yourself through hell and back just trying to find out everything you've managed to figure out so far, haven't you?
You don't even know the half of it.
Speaking of which, I wanted to ask, what in the world happened back at the commune? I know they made you leave, but ain't nobody in that place been willing to give me a reason as to why.
Tom happened. That's what.
Oh, what sort of nonsense was that little pipsqueak going on about this time?
They basically told the council that I was the reason your brother was all torn up when he arrived at Cross Stitch. And they all just took their word for it and tossed me out.
You're kidding. I mean, I knew the rules were mighty strict over there and all. They didn't try getting your side of the story? No eyewitness testimony or nothing?
Nope. And Tom Tom's eyewitness report was all the evidence they needed, I guess.
That's some bullshit. I knew that whiny little plush toy was none but trouble. You know, your folks, they never gave up on you. Old Jeannie especially still calls and asks if I've seen you at least twice a week. Guess I'll be able to give him a call back and tell him the good news. Where have you been hiding all this time?
The woods.
You can't be serious. I searched high and low all over these woods looking for you. All I found was this.
Seriously? You've been carrying one of my dirty old doll shoes everywhere with you?
It's the only thing we had to give us any hope of finding you. You seriously spent all this time fighting to survive out in the woods?
Yep. It's also the main reason I look like this now, too. Hunters, rodents, insects, you name it.
You know, if you needed a place to stay, you could have just come to me. I'd have helped you get things sorted out. So, why didn't you? Let me guess. You didn't want to be a burden on me, did you?
You know me all too well. I'm sorry for making you guys worry. Like I said, I was scared and I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
Well, it's like I said. You're all right, and that's what matters. At least Walden was willing to give you a place here inside the factory. And you being his assistant? That's a sweet gig.
This place is certainly something, all right.
That is, unless you were fixing to leave at some point. I know the factory life ain't for everyone. If you want, I'm sure I could work something out with Walden to get you out of here. Get you set up in your own place inside the city somewhere.
I appreciate the offer, Morty, but I'm still needed here. I told Walden I was going to help him, and that's exactly what I intend to do.
Ah, I see. Well, let me help you out a little bit. Do you know who Francine Darling used to be?
No.
She used to be a German singer named Francine Klein.
Get out. Are you for real?
Oh, I'm being for real, all right?
I knew something about her seemed familiar. I used to fall asleep to her music all the time.
You want to know something? Walden used to do the same, and it drove Walls crazy.
That just might work then. It just might work. I'll be right back.
I'm telling you now, boy, it's not a healthy limb.
Oh, fuck off. You just don't know scientific genius when you see it.
The skin and fur are black, your veins are red. It's just not right.
And yet, full mobility and better dexterity than any prosthetic. I'm telling you, it's fine.
Is it, though? Just when exactly did you achieve this scientific breakthrough of yours? Before or after you became the Midnight Maniac?
Why does it matter?
I'm just saying. If you've been testing out some sketchy substances on yourself, it might have messed you up a little bit.
The only thing that's ever messed me up here is you.
Come on, son, work with me here. I'm not trying to talk down to you. I'm actually concerned about this.
Well, don't be. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
You're literally in the infirmary and have lost half of your goddamn mind.
Bullshit.
Oh yeah? Who's the one that stabbed me in the shoulder and took out my left eye, huh?
I did.
Why?
You deserved it.
Why did I deserve it?
You know damn well why.
I want you to say it. Explain it.
Or I could just come over there and beat your ass.
In your current state? Not likely.
All right, that's it. I'm gonna...
Good Lord, you two can't get along for more than 10 minutes, can you?
Just so we're clear, you started it.
Oh, what are you, 5?
You know, sometimes I wonder the exact same thing about you.
All right, knock it off, both of you. Mr. Darling, you should count your lucky stars we allowed you to be here. And boss, you're supposed to be resting anyway. Chill the fuck out.
All right, okay. What you got there?
Something that just might jog something in your mind regarding your mother.
A CD player? Jesus Christ, I haven't touched one of these things since college. Oh, let's see. Hold on. This kinda sounds like... Mom. I remember Mom.